Hello everyone and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I'm creating a baby card using Pretty Pink Posh products. So first of all, I'm using the Bunny Friends, and I'm also using Baby from Pretty Pink Posh, and then I have my basic rectangles to get my A2 sized panel for this card. Now these images are from the Bunny Friends and I just love this stamp. I had it for a while now, and unfortunately this is only the first time that I used it, which is a shame. But I bought it a few months ago, actually as soon as NUVO added this amazing brand to their shop. So if you're living in Europe, then definitely check out NUVO if you're trying to get your hands on some Pretty Pink Posh products. They have a lot of them in their shop. That being said, I'm doing some Copic coloring. I'm keeping it really soft today. It's a baby card. I don't want to go overboard with crazy shadowing, but I do want to have a shadow, so I have chosen for a few really soft earth markers for this bunny. And don't mind the first layer. This is Transotype Perfect Coloring Paper. I stamped it out using Gina K Design Amalgam ink, black one, and well, I need at least 2 layers. And before the second layer, we just need to ignore the blend that isn't working. But the second layer, everything changes. I also decided to start a bit of flicking, just to go a bit further in this image with my darker markers, as well as just have an easier blend. That being said, I decided also on the flowers to use the same color, which is a lovely bright pink. That lovely bright pink gave me some issues with my background, so we will get to that. But just keeping it really soft. So this bunny is almost done. I'm just doing a second layer on the ears as well, and then we can start on the flowers. Aren't these flowers fabulous? I just mean they are simple but cute, and you have several kinds of flowers, and don't ask me the names. I know there is a tulip, but all the rest, haha, have no clue. Love them. I'm not a flowery kind of person, so even if I would normally do flowers, I wouldn't even know what I'm coloring in. That being said, there are some other flowers as well in the stamp set. I just decided that I was going to have enough with these and just doing some really soft coloring. I'm trying to sort of have the inner side, except for the tulip, because there you can definitely add shadows the way you think will work. But for the other flowers I had some difficulties with it, and then decided to have just my darkest ones to come from the inner or the centerpiece of the flower, and just blend it out towards the lighter markers. So a really bright, joyful card. It's a baby card. I'm not going to make it really dark. I also think this is for a baby girl. Not necessarily, but well, I'm one of those people that really like to use those extreme colors even when they are not really girl and boy. They are not defined. Pink isn't for a girl necessarily, and blue isn't for a boy necessarily, but somehow that's the interpretation of a lot of these colors. And actually I just like to go to the extremes, if you can call it like that, just using pinks and blues. Not that I think that pink is necessarily for a girl and blue for a boy, because that would just limit everything, but I really like using all pinks or all blues on a baby card. Okay, with the basic rectangles I cut out an A2 size panel that you can see here. It's from Ballet slippers from Concord and 9th, and I just love this cardstock. I said it in the past as well. This color of pink is just fabulous. It's always the pink that is running out in my craft room, so I bought like a pack of 10 or 12 sheets of this pink, so I'm good now. That being said, I'm trying to get that baby lined up, and in the past I used this triangle for that, and it helped me, so I use it again. Going to do some white heat embossing. Now this card, you can change up the images, you can change up the colors, but you can definitely also decide to do the baby not heat embossed and just use the dies It was something that I contemplated, and I will later show you an option that I think would be lovely if you just use dies without the heat embossing. But for today, I'm getting out of that comfort zone again, doing some heat embossing, having these intricate tiny images of the baby word, and well, just loving the process so far. I'm inking it up multiple times, again, a lot of images, tiny things, intricate things, and just to be sure, because I don't like to do it all over again, I stamped it out 3 times. Using my white embossing powder from Ranger, and once I tapped off all the excess, or as far as I saw any excess, I started heat setting it. So melting the whole thing, and then we can buff off the excess as well as clean up my craft mat, because all the anti-static powder is all over, as I went to the extremes to get that on top of this panel, I know. That being said, let's try the layout again. I thought I was a bit afraid of the bunny, but I don't mind it overlapping with the B and the Y. Just it works. So I'm using the matching dies, which is a bonus, I think, if you have them. Why? Because you can heat emboss, but if you decide, or stamp it out, but if you decide you want to have some dimension, the dies are really handy. And if you don't want to heat emboss or stamp things out, then you can just use these dies, and you can clearly see it's an A, it's a B, it's a Y, and I just love that. I love these big words. I said it in the past, I will say it again. I think it's really a bonus. I love all of these sets. I have the mom, I have the love, the joy, baby. I think there is another one that I'm missing, and I hope that there will be many more. I truly, truly love them. Now, as you see, the pinks aren't the same pinks, what I colored and the cardstock. But I also didn't want to go too dark. So I thought, I will fix it. I will just ink blend a bit of pink on the baby with a tiny gradient. So I started with Picked Raspberry, which is quite heavy. So I went on it really softly. And then I decided to also use worn lipstick to help me get that gradient to soften into the ballet slipper. Went back and forth, as we do when we are ink blending, and I really liked how it looked. I also thought that it was really close to the pink that I used on the flowers, so that's all a bonus. But then, once I buffed off all the excess, as you know, the embossing powder will resist your ink, but from time to time you have that slight color on top of it. You can just buff it off by using a paper towel. Now, as you see the inlay here, I love the baby, but it was just such a difference between the baby and the background for me. It was just too much. So before throwing it away, I thought maybe just adding a bit of these inks that I used on the baby on the edges of my panel. Now I know normally I would prevent my stitching details to get color, but now I already have a colored cardstock, so I just went for it. Making sure to tap off the excess of the ink as well. I didn't want to go overboard again, as I said. Just really quickly ink blending. I know this is really quickly, but I mean, it goes quick. This is sped up 4 times, so it's not as quick as you're seeing here, but you know, I'm not doing anything fancy, just adding a bit on the edges. And once I was happy with that, well, I tried, of course, with some of the images with baby. I could continue. Now, I'm not going everywhere with that ink. I know it seems like that, but it's not the case. So the insert that you have for the B's and the A, I'm not bothered about that. I'm not going to worry. I'm using some adhesive roller to start assembling. And as you can see above, I also have die cut the baby word 1 time extra. I'm going to, well, here we have it. I don't know if you recall the joy Christmas card with the reindeer friends that I made. The idea is quite similar but completely other sets, and of course another occasion here. But there I was really brave, and I cut it out 3 times more of white paper, and the dimension was perfect. But I also said that it's something that I don't like doing because it's repetitive, because I don't like die cutting 4 times the same thing. So here I'm only doing it once. It's a bit of dimension, it's not as much, and probably it would be way lovelier if I did it 4 times in total. But you know, being lazy, from time to time we can be lazy. So remember that I said you can also do not heat embossing and just cut it out with the dies. I have this welcome little one. I love the script. Well, it's from Pretty Pink Posh as well. I will not end up using it for today's card because here I also added it twice on top of each other. I hope to use it on another card, and maybe the idea that I'm telling here, but I love the script. I have baby, so it would be welcome baby. That was the idea that I had when I thought maybe I can add it. But I'm adding everything on top of this card, not knowing where the welcome was going to be. I already knew my images, I already knew to inlay the baby, of course, and then I would figure out the rest. So there are many places where you can add that welcome, and I'm just going over it with you. But I also had those images, so keeping them in mind as well while I was trying to find a layout for the welcome also made it a bit harder to include it. But when I tried the welcome again, I just found that I would love to add it close to baby or on top of it, but just with the white heat embossing it was a bit too much. It was really busy, too busy for me. So again, many options, but I think I would use this welcome if I wouldn't have heat embossed all those amazing little images onto the word baby. If I would just had used the die and have the plain baby word, then I would have used the welcome. But I'm keeping it aside, welcome, and I'm hoping to use it on another baby card, or just maybe if you're just using welcome, you can maybe also do welcome home and just use a scripty and then a alphabet thingy. So many options again. I'm not throwing it away, but it just, for me, it didn't feel right to use it with everything else going on already. I'm trying to keep it simple by limiting the amount of images because you had that huge word already. Adding the welcome was just too much for me. But many options, so if you want to use it, there are so many places to place the welcome that would work. I think you can make like a series of baby cards excuse me, a series of baby cards by just changing up placement of welcome, or in this case, in my case, just changing up placement of a bunny, or just using one of the other adorable stamps or images from Pretty Pink Posh or from another brand. I love using the big word, as I said already. Using it with another brand can be perfectly fine. Now onto the embellishments. I decided to use some iridescent crystals. I love these crystals. I think it's genius. Again, iridescent. I'm repeating myself, but if you are not sure about which embellishment you can use, try to find something iridescent. Iridescent sequins, stars, hearts, anything goes, bubbles. I also contemplated about bubbles. Yeah, that being said, it always works. It's perfect. It's truly the embellishment that I always go for when I'm not sure, or when I'm sure. I'm going for iridescent. Once I'm happy with layout, and it took me a while again figuring things out, I don't want it to overload the card, but it all has to match. I am going to add it using some liquid glue, and then I'm using my embellishment wand to get everything in place. And I also love the embellishment wand. Did I tell you that already? It's really, really handy. Since I have it, I truly, if I cannot find it at the moment I need it, I'm freaking out. That being said, I'm also going to add some glossy accents. on the middle thingy of the flower there and the nose, and well, I decided to keep it like that. But you can add some stickles if you want to, or anything else. This is my card, however, and I decided to stop here. I really like how it turned out. I'm happy that I tried to get a background to match with the pink of my flowers. I hope you like it too. I want to thank you for stopping by. I truly appreciate it so much. You are all so fabulous. I hope you have an amazing day, and I will be back soon with some new crafty inspiration. Bye!